homes ripped apart.
And we could hear the debris kind of still going around. The side of our house is gone.
Hardly a home spared in one neighborhood, debris strewn everywhere.
Storms hit North Texas hard, up to 80-mile-per-hour winds. Trees down, hundreds of thousands without power. A semi knocked over.
Our coverage after the storm starts now.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Now.
And it is a big breaking news story this morning across North Texas. What a morning it is so far. Thank you for joining us here for News 8 Daybreak as we cover these severe storms. I'm Ron Corning.
I'm Sonia Zod in for Alexa today. And perhaps the hardest hit neighborhood that we've been seeing pictures of all morning long is out of Rockwall. The Panhandle Drive specifically is what we are looking at. And our Monica Hernandez has been there, as I mentioned, all morning. She says, you know, really there's no home there that doesn't have some type of damage. About 5 homes estimated right now completely destroyed.
Yeah, and in some cases you see homes literally split in two. This is north of I-30 in Rockwall, the Dalton Ranch area. Also in Keller, overnight, we saw this damage. This is in a parking lot of a Home Depot. Sheds there that are typically on display, destroyed, strewn around, blown up against a semi-truck, where one man said he was trying to get some shut-eye when all of a sudden he was awakened by that. Our Hannah Davis has been following that, but she's moved on now to other areas as well. So there is other damage in residential areas of Keller. She will have us covered with that. Greg is tracking the path of this storm, where it's been so far, where it's going, and what people are still dealing with at this hour. Greg, good morning.
Hey, good morning there, Ron. Good morning, everyone. Yes, waking up, assessing the damage as that strong, severe line of thunderstorms rolled through North Texas this morning. The severe weather threat has ended. The storms continue to move out of the area here this morning, moving east. We'll show you radar coming up in a bit. Decreasing clouds as we go through the day. So we'll have a couple of days of some settled weather and clearing skies, and that will be some good news for us before the next round of thunderstorms arrives this weekend. More on that coming up. Here's what radar looks like right now. Royce City, Rockwall, some moderate showers have been coming down, moving through Rockwall County once again, and maybe even some embedded thunderstorms with this, but nothing like what we saw earlier. That severe weather threat has ended, as I mentioned, and those storms, the stronger thunderstorms, continuing to roll east here this morning as we zoom out on radar. There's the leading edge of that thunderstorm complex, getting into far east Texas now, out toward Tyler and Longview, and you see getting over into Tarrant County. The rain has ended, and that will be the case for you for the rest of the day. So if you're not seeing any rain now, you probably won't for the rest of today. So that is some good news. As we look hour by hour, still a few leftover showers this morning, but they will be moving out. And then as we head into the afternoon hours, partly to maybe even mostly sunny skies, and we'll have those highs close to 80 degrees later on today. We'll have more coming up, but now let's get over to Lauren checking on traffic.
Okay, several road closures working early this morning due to a down power line. So in Grand Prairie, both eastbound and westbound I-20 closed between Beltline Road and Carrier Parkway, causing at least an hour delay. You could just see traffic is a huge headache. Stop traffic for miles right now. So take Spur 303 or I-30 to avoid that, whether you're heading to Dallas or Fort Worth from Grand Prairie. Accident has cleared northbound 35E at Beckley, but we still have our road closure working in Farmers Branch northbound at Valley View Lane. That's due to an overturned semi, so use Josie or Luna to avoid that. Still have our road closure in Denton, southbound 35E at Loop 288. Use FM 2181 as your alternate route there. New accident reported in the Euless area, northbound 360 at Trinity Boulevard. That could definitely affect you if you're trying to catch a flight out of DFW this morning. So use President George Bush Turnpike to avoid that one. And in Keller, still working. Closure at Highway 377 at North Tarrant Parkway. Both directions are closed, so use 35W or Beach Street as your alternate option there. Ron and Sonia?
All right, Lauren, thank you. And I know she's keeping you posted on Twitter as well, so be sure to follow her there. And gosh, it might just be beneficial to hold off if you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You know, just don't get on the roads right now. I'm not going to offer you a doctor's note or anything, but.
Yeah, with those down power lines as well, and we've been advised, of course, by Encore, if you come across a down tree and a down power line, do not try to cross it. It could be a live wire. You should just presume that's the case. Out in Rockwall, they are dealing with down trees, power lines, homes damaged and destroyed out there. Our Monica Hernandez has been following this throughout the night. Boy, no rest for the weary for the folks who live there, Monica. They've been up all night trying to figure out what comes next.
All night long, and the rain just adding insult to injury, Ron, still coming down. And for those homes here in Dalton Ranch, here on Panhandle Drive that are just destroyed, you can imagine the rain just soaking what's left inside those homes. You can see several homes here don't have a roof anymore. This large home here, one of the walls ripped off, but you can see a chair there still in place. A lot of the debris, though, just strewn across the ground. We're seeing cleanup already beginning here. A backhoe was moving some of the debris off the street onto that sidewalk there. First responders are here. They are keeping us a little bit away from the scene because of a natural gas leak. They're concerned about safety in this area, and they told neighbors who were out here looking at the damage to go back inside. So neighbors inside right now really waiting for the sun to come up to get a sense of the extent of that damage. Now, you can imagine how terrifying it must have been when that weather came through overnight. One man says it sounded like a thud, lasted about 15 seconds. He walked outside, the siding of his home was off, his neighbor's roof was gone, and this is really about neighbors helping neighbors. He went inside to make sure she was okay. Take a listen.
I don't know where she was in the bathroom, but anyway, she was very traumatized, very whatever, again, with the noise, concerned about her animals and stuff like that. So we got her dressed, and then we brought her over to our house to just try to calm down a little bit. And now
some safe?
Some friends have taken her home.
And thankfully, she did make it out safe. We are still checking with authorities, asking if everyone here made it out safely, because so many people were sleeping when this storm blew through, when those powerful winds ripped off roofs. And we are seeing about 3 homes with their roofs or siding ripped off. And most of the homes on this street, again, this is Panhandle Drive in the Dalton Ranch neighborhood of Rockwall. Most homes on the street do have some type of damage. We'll continue to check in with you as we get updates, guys. Back to you.
All right, Monica, and it appeared, we're going to keep you here on the line for a second, it appeared as if firefighters there were doing what they do in situations like this, standard operating procedure, going door to door with flashlights, trying to make sure that nobody was in any of those homes, that there are no injuries. As far as we know so far, have they given that neighborhood the all clear?
You know, right now they still have the street blocked off. I don't know if we can pan behind and you can see those cones. They have the street blocked off so that no civilians like us can get inside as they check out that natural gas leak. They've told neighbors to go home, and we are waiting for the chief to get out here so that he can give us the official word. I've asked some of the firefighters here for more information, and they said, hey, you've just got to wait for that official word. So that's what we're waiting on to make sure that everyone here did manage to make out safe.
Well, we will hope for the very best news there, that is in fact the case. Monica Hernandez on the scene with us, and we will check back in with her again this hour.
Yeah, so we're also going to go over to Keller. Now, Hannah Davis has been out there all morning long. She was at outside of a Home Depot earlier today. But Hannah, we understand that you've moved to a residential area that's also sustained quite a bit of damage.
Sonia, you don't have to drive very far before you encounter even more damage. It's block by block. You're going to see trees in the roadways. You're going to see fences down. It's really all over this area. Right behind me, we've got a home where you see the fence went down and what was in the backyard is all knocked over. We did see the woman that lived here, and she said simply it has been a very long night. She just got her kids to bed, and I think she's ready to get some sleep too. Obviously, once they wake up, they're going to have a lot of work to do. But let's head back to that video from the Home Depot that we got just about 2 miles from here. We saw sheds that had been sat out there as displays destroyed, leveled to the ground. We also talked to a guy that was in a semi truck who was sleeping out there taking a break when all of a sudden the storm hit. It hit his truck, and he said it was one of the most terrifying experiences of his entire life. And this guy is from Oklahoma. That's Tornado Alley. So when he says this is the worst storm he's been in, that really means something. You know, we're seeing this damage everywhere, and it's not just here in Keller, it's all over Tarrant. Fort Worth, we're hearing a lot of reports. Of course, where Monica's at, you guys saw that video. It's really incredible. But we're going to keep looking for that damage and bringing you those reports, and we'll do that throughout the morning. Guys, back to you.
All right, Hannah, thank you very much. And we want to turn now to some incredible video as well from overnight. Check out this overturned semi-truck in Denton. It may have been blown over by the strong winds.
That's right. This was at 35 and Loop 288. That semi, we understand, has been moved right now. So our Todd Unger took this video at the height of the storm. Check it out. This is downtown Fort Worth. You can see the lightning and heavy rain here. This was around 2 o'clock this morning.
And that makes sense because then the brunt of the storm moving through Dallas was around 2:45.
That's what woke us up
3
this
o'clock,
morning.
yes indeed. That was my alarm clock. Take a look here. This is video from near Flagpole Hill in Dallas as we talk about this area. You can see the strong winds taking down several tree limbs there. And we've been talking about power outages. At the height of the storm, 250,000 customers were without power. They've worked furiously to try to get as much power restored as they can, and they're making some great progress. Here's an updated look at the Encore storm outage map. About 148,000 people without power right now. So they've restored power to almost 100,000 in the last hour and a half or so. Most of those outages are still in an area south of Fort Worth, but we should say that one of our viewers sent us information. He's in Kessler Park, right near Colorado and Lusan, and saying there's a downed tree near his home, and they too are without power. So it is spotty and checkered as you look at this map around the area, but some areas are a higher concentration of outages, and that's where Encore will spend most of their time after emergency responders have power restored. They move on to hospitals, gas stations, other critical infrastructure, and then areas where the most number of people can have power restored quickly.
Yeah, and we appreciate all of the tweets that people have been sending us, the information, the images, and Daybreak's Marcus Moore is here with what he's seeing on social media. Marcus, I understand you're getting kind of a bunch of information yourself.
Well, yeah, we really do appreciate the pictures and videos because they truly help in an immediate sense help us understand exactly what's happening when these weather systems come through. In fact, LaCroix Cowboy tweeted this video out from downtown Dallas showing the trees there waving in the wind, and you can see the sheets of rain there, and of course the lightning. That's what he tweeted, or actually put on Instagram overnight. Here's a picture that Adam Bell tweeted from Denton 377 and North Country Club there. You see a tree knocked over. And this is a picture I really wanted you to see. If you look here, kind of difficult to see, but that is a trampoline that is stuck on a power pole there. No doubt picked up by the wind and left on that power pole. And here is some video that we saw online showing the storm as it moved through Garland. Take a look at this. You'll actually be able to see power flashes. Here it is on your screen there. This is from Austin, who tweeted this out. This is video from Garland this morning showing that. So incredible pictures coming in from our viewers here across the area. And right now on our WFAA Facebook page, we have people contributing to a live feed that we have going, showing some of the giving damage reports. And so we appreciate you doing that, helping us understand the scope of all of this. Patricia saying that she was in Louisville there and must have slept through everything, but others are reporting trees down and also fences damaged. So we'll keep monitoring that this morning. But Ron and Sonia, a busy morning on social media as this storm moved through.
All right, Marcus, thank you very much. And as always, when weather hits your neighborhood, we are here to help you and your family. There are several ways that you can get alerts. Download our WFAA app. Also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And I can tell you already there are any number of people who've messaged us to say they are without power, but they're on their mobile devices, their iPads, their smartphones. They are streaming the broadcast. They are getting alerts through our app, and it has been very helpful for them. So we're glad we can help.
Okay. Time now 6:12, and we're going to get to a couple of other stories for you here. A proud time for TCU. The men's basketball team is advancing to the NIT title game.
And as we head to break, again, our storm coverage continuing. That Rockwall neighborhood, as Monica pointed out, firefighters, first responders still going door to door, making sure that everyone is out safely, and we will update you accordingly. We'll be back here in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. It is 6:15 here this morning. So this tweet coming from James from Aledo around 2:30 this morning. Some heavy rain falling there. And so our weather coverage continuing here throughout the rest of this broadcast. In the meantime, we want to bring you up to date on some other news, and we turn to sports. TCU now is the only Big 12 team left that could win a championship title. The Horned Frogs defeated Central Florida last night in the NIT semifinal. They'll play Georgia Tech tomorrow night for the championship.
All right, and we're going to check back in with Greg because the storms have pushed through, but as people are sort of waking up, a lot of you don't have power. Maybe you're getting your kids off to school. You're trying to get your day started here. And Greg, what can they expect at least for the next few hours of the morning? Yeah, talking to some folks on Facebook Live, it's still dark, so they haven't gotten out and assessed the damage yet, but they will be once that sun comes up. Severe weather threat has ended across the area. Mount Pleasant, getting over toward Tyler and Longview. That's where the leading edge of that strong line of thunderstorms that rolled through Fort Worth
in Dallas a little earlier this morning. You notice we're on the backside of that, so still a few leftover showers are going to linger in eastern portions of Dallas and Collin counties here this morning. The stronger storms continue to move out of the area, so the weather will settle down, it looks like, as we go through the rest of the morning. Still looking at that enhanced risk over the Arklatex region for some severe weather later today. And for the morning storms, still that slight risk in our far eastern counties, and that marginal risk is back toward Terrell and Rockwall, but that's what we're dealing with here this morning. Once that moves on out, things should improve for everyone as we go throughout the morning. Talking about the storm reports, though, Jesse Hawila's been in all night long tracking that, and you have some new reports to talk about.
Yeah, we've been monitoring the National Weather Service add to these reports across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Take a look at this. Keep in mind, these reports exactly what's responsible for having more than 200,000 people without power across the Dallas-Fort Worth area today. Just to read through a couple of these to give you an idea of some of the damage. Several sections of brick wall blown over near Poncell Drive and South Matlock Road in Arlington. That was around 2:25 when the storms rolled through. And just one more to show you. Let's look at that Rockwall damage. Again, severe wind damage like we're seeing here this morning from Monica Hernandez there in the Dalton Ranch area near Rockwall, Greg.
Yeah, so we'll have more damage reports as the morning wears on. Again, once that sun comes up, we'll get to assess the damage a little more. There's the upper low still hanging back across the panhandle. That's been driving everything along, and it will continue to move east as we go through the day. So we'll catch a nice little break in between systems now as we get into the weekend and make those weekend plans. We'll have the next low working its way toward North Texas, looking at some thunderstorms to fire up late in the day on Saturday, going into Saturday evening. These could be severe as well, so you'll need to keep that in mind as we get into the weekend. Later into the weekend on Sunday, widespread rain and thunderstorms expected as we go through the day on Sunday. In the meantime, this morning, looking back at Fair Park, rain tapering off out there. The roads are going to be wet, maybe some debris in the roads as well. Temperatures in the upper 50s in Denton at 58, 57 heading out to Weatherford right now, and Fort Worth 61, 62 coming over to Dallas here this morning. We'll warm up today with skies clearing a little bit as we get into the afternoon. Storms are certainly going to be moving out as we'll have partly to mostly sunny skies today and tomorrow, a little bit cooler tomorrow, and then we'll warm back up close to 80 on Friday. A good looking day as we wrap up the week, but then we'll have those thunderstorms moving in again Saturday night going into Sunday with a few leftover showers into the first part of next week. A lot of problems out there as folks are hitting the roads, so let's get over to Lauren checking on traffic.
Yes, traffic just keeps getting messier as the morning progresses, but here is our biggest trouble spot of the morning in Grand Prairie. Still completely closed both directions of I-20 between Carrier Parkway and Beltline Road due to downed power lines, which are not supposed to be removed for at least another 5 hours or so. You can see traffic is at a complete standstill, at least an hour delay, probably closer to 2-hour delays there. So continue taking Spur 303 or I-30, whether you're heading towards Dallas or Fort Worth. New accident causing an hour delay westbound 635 at Royal Lane. That blocks 2 right lanes. But to get around that, you could take Northwest Highway or Loop 12 Buckner to Adelia. Still have this road closure working in Farmers Branch, northbound 35E at Valley View Lane. To avoid that, you're going to want to take 114 to President George Bush Turnpike, as that is starting to cause about a 45-minute delay there with all that stopped traffic. 2 new accidents, one in Euless, northbound 360 at Trinity Boulevard, so that'll affect you heading up towards DFW Airport, and another new one eastbound I-30 right at 360 in Arlington. Once again, about 30-minute delays from both of those, and big trouble in Keller still working. Highway 377 completely closed at Tarrant Parkway due to more down power lines, but you could take Beach Street or 35W to avoid. It's a mess. It's a mess out there.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Thank you for helping folks get around it. And if you can, I guess, maybe stay in for a while and delay your commute. Well, his pat down at the airport sparked quite a conversation nationwide. Coming up next, we will hear from the mom angry over the way her son was treated by a TSA agent.
Yeah, but first on Good Morning America, a deadly home invasion is under investigation in Oklahoma. This is quite a story. 3 teenagers were killed after police say they tried to break into a home. Here's ABC's Diane Macedo.
In this morning's GMA First Look, 3 Oklahoma teenagers are dead after a brazen burglary attempt turned fatal.
There was a short exchange of words and then gunfire happened.
Police say 3 armed teens broke into this Oklahoma home in broad daylight.
I thought it was thunder. I just heard something. I had the doors closed.
After an argument, police say 23-year-old resident Zach Peters opened fire with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle, killing all 3.
Preliminary investigation, it looks like it was self-defense. maybe a case of stand your ground. However, you know, it's still really early in the investigation.
This morning, Peters has not been charged with any crime, but 21-year-old Elizabeth Marie Rodriguez, the alleged getaway driver, has been arrested under an Oklahoma law. And coming up at 7 a.m., legal expert Sunny Hostin weighs in on the case. With your GMA First Look, I'm Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Back with you now at 6:26 this morning and 62 degrees. This tweet coming in from Glen Rose ISD: because of a lack of electricity, school will start at 10 o'clock this morning. Buses also running 2 hours behind schedule. So far, despite the number of power outages across the area, this is the only school district that is reporting a delay, and we'll continue to monitor that closely. Well, video of a TSA pat-down of a 13-year-old boy still has everyone talking.
That's right. We were talking about this just yesterday morning, and now we're hearing from the mother and the son. She was furious about it, saying, hey, the TSA officer went too far. The child didn't remove a laptop from his pack, setting off any alarm. The mother then told officers Aaron has a condition called sensory processing disorder.
I've always been like really sensitive to people touching me, and whenever he touched me, I started having hives a little bit.
I honestly felt like we were being targeted, we were being treated like dogs.
Earlier this month, TSA changed its pat-down protocol. This one took 1 minute and 41 seconds, but the family was held at the checkpoint for a total of 45 minutes. I mean, you miss a flight that way, right? TSA says that they followed all their correct procedures, but as we talked about yesterday, their procedures which changed sort of quietly, and we don't really know much about how they changed their procedures. It just sort of changed.
Well, TSA experts yesterday said there is a wide range of policies, right, in which agents can exercise their own discretion and their own judgment in terms of how long a pat down takes or who they choose to pat down. And so in this case, did they go too far? I don't think this conversation or story is over yet. Coming up here, an update on power outages in North Texas and when you might be able to expect power to return.
We have crews across North Texas, as you can expect, as we continue to cover property damage from some of this morning's severe storms.
And you're taking a live look right now at that major problem we've been covering closely. This is I-20 in Grand Prairie. It is shut down there. Keep it right here for your ways around it and any other trouble spots with Lauren Nevitt. We'll be right back.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Now.
We just heard the bang, and then we could hear the debris kind of still going around.
Severe storms bear down on North Texas overnight. Families waking up to some pretty extreme damage in some places, some of their homes not livable. And the cleanup is already beginning this morning during these early hours. What a long night it has been for so many. We have you covered from all angles here on News 8 Daybreak on this Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ron Corning.
I'm Sonia Azad in for Alexa today. And Rockwall County, and specifically the neighborhood that we're showing you here, Dalton Ranch, is among the hardest hit in terms of homes being damaged. I mean, look at these are live pictures that you're seeing here. Winds up to, what was it, 83 miles per hour in some places there. And so our Monica Hernandez has been live all morning, starting really last night.
And take a look here at our power outage map. It's continuing to change as Encore crews continue to work overnight to get the power restored. Right now, about 170,000 people without power in DFW. That number has come down from a peak of about 208,000. And we should warn you, if your child goes to school in Keller ISD, you're in a bit of a holding pattern this morning. They are assessing power outages on school campuses. They're saying that buses will be running on a late schedule. They won't count tardies, but it is possible if they don't have power that school could be canceled. That's always a possibility. We don't know that for sure, but here at 6:32, we are watching that closely as well. We already know that Glen Rose ISD won't start until 10 a.m.
Until 10 a.m., that's right. We want to take you to the radar now. Here's a live look. You know, the storms have moved out if you're just waking up and you're like, what's going on? But Lauren has been monitoring a major problem on the road. So as you can see here, this is a look at I-20, parts of it. Let's get a check of your weather and traffic right now.
And let's start with Greg. Greg, you are continuing to watch this. That radar radar pretty active for folks who are east of the Metroplex.
Yeah, the storms have moved out. Still going to have some rain around, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm east of Dallas now. And those thunderstorms continue to roll east on into East Texas here this morning. So the three things you need to know: yes, the storms are moving out of the area, moving east, decreasing clouds as we go through the day. We are talking about some thunderstorm chances returning this weekend. So as we plan ahead, something to keep in mind. We'll have more on that for you coming up. But you see Fort Worth and Dallas in the clear as far as the rain is concerned. Now still some showers out toward Mesquite, Rockwall, some light rain now. You did have some heavier showers about 30 to 45 minutes ago, but you see the leading edge of that line of thunderstorms on into East Texas, far East Texas now. So it continues to move out. So things will be improving conditions well as we go through the day. So as we look hour by hour, still some leftover showers this morning, maybe lingering into mid to late morning, but by afternoon, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies. Temperatures close to 80 degrees later on today, so it will be quiet for a couple of days before that next chance of rain and storms arrives this weekend. More on that coming up, and now let's get over to Lauren checking on that traffic. Very busy this morning.
Yes, very busy. And good news, our biggest trouble spot of the morning, I'm finally starting to see a little bit of movement there. So we're still closed at I-20, both eastbound and westbound, between Carrier Parkway and Beltline Road, and the backups are going to be causing at least over an hour delay. And this is all due to down power lines in the area. These are not supposed to be cleared out of the area for at least another 3 hours or so. So continue using Spur 303 and I-30 as your alternate routes, whether you're traveling to Dallas or Fort Worth. Accident working in Dallas on westbound 635 at Royal Lane. That is causing an hour delay. So to avoid that, use Northwest Highway or take Loop 12 Buckner Boulevard to Audelia Road. That's a lot of red right there. Still closed northbound 35E in Farmers Branch at Valley View Lane due to an accident involving a semi. Take 114 to President George Bush Turnpike as your alternate ways around that. Ron and Sonia.
All right, Lauren, thank you. And we want to let you know we have a couple of late-breaking details coming out of Tarrant County this morning. The southeast campus of Tarrant College, Tarrant Community College, is that right?
Tarrant County College.
Tarrant County College, excuse me. Tarrant County College is closed. They're dealing with a power outage there. And Fort Worth Police and Fire have called us. They want to warn folks there, if you are walking to school, if your children are walking to school, even if you're driving, there are a lot of down power lines. Those could be live wires and very dangerous, so you're asked to exercise caution there.
Yeah, and one of the neighborhoods where we have seen and heard about a lot of those down power lines is the Dalton Ranch neighborhood, specifically around Panhandle Drive in Rockwall County, and that's where Monica Hernandez has been all morning. And Monica, as we've seen your pictures and the live video that you guys have been bringing us all morning, what really strikes me is that, man, this came through, as you've mentioned, in the middle of the night. Extensive, significant damage to so many of these homes, and yet no injuries that we know about. That's amazing.
And we actually have just learned about one injury, Sonia. One person taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay. At this point, we don't know exactly how they were injured, if it was from debris or whatnot, but we do know that one person in this neighborhood taken to the hospital. But when you see the extent of the damage, it really is incredible. In the middle of the night, so many people asleep. This happened about 3:30 in the morning when the storm blew through. And one man I spoke with said it sounded like a thud. He went out and saw his siding was off, and you can see many of the homes here look like they are split in half. Now I'm here with the mayor of Rockwall, Jim Pruitt. You are out here checking out the damage this morning. And Jim, just tell me what the city of Rockwall is doing right now to make sure this neighborhood will come back.
Well, we have all of our teams out here, the fire department, the police department. Our CERT team has been out going house to house to make sure everyone's okay. They've also been helping them put up things over their roof and those type of things.
Talk to me a little bit about the extent of the damage. It appears about 3 homes destroyed, but many of the homes on this block, Panhandle Drive, have some kind of damage.
They are, and also the street, the cross street down on the end here has homes that have substantial glass damage, roof damage, but this street took the brunt of the storm.
And tell me why you felt compelled to be out here in the middle of the night to go through this damage and talk with neighbors.
Because this is Rockwall, and we are a close-knit community here, and we all band together if something happens. And these are our neighbors, these are our friends, these are the folks that our kids go to school with. So we wish them the best.
We're glad that everyone here survived. We know one person is in the hospital, and we'll certainly be thinking about them. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mayor Jim Pruitt.
Have a great day.
Thank you. And we will continue to keep you updated out here in the Dalton Ranch community of Rockwall, particularly here on Panhandle Drive, one of the hardest hit neighborhoods in Rockwall and in DFW. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Monica, thank you. And I guess the good news there is at least the rain has stopped. I mean, really,
Yes.
in the last half hour, it was coming down pretty hard. So good to see that at least, so that those crews can take care of what they need to, starting to clean up, really, this morning.
Excuse me. And the storm was fairly widespread because it started west of Fort Worth is when it really started to sort of gain some intensity. And so Keller was one of those areas that was hit as well. Not as hard, it would seem, as Rockwall, but nonetheless, there is damage there that people are dealing with this morning, and it's a little more than an inconvenience. Hannah Davis joining us now live. Hannah, good morning.
Good morning, Ron. Well, it was widespread, like you said, and it was also strong, the storm that moved through. I want to show you some evidence of that strength. Kate, take a look at this tree right here. I mean, this is a thick, older, mature tree, and it's just splintered, cut in half, and this is from those straight line winds that we saw moving throughout Keller. This isn't a residential neighborhood, and we're seeing a lot of damage at homes and a lot of trees like this, but we're also seeing damage at businesses just a couple miles away. We went down there earlier this morning to Home Depot and checked out what it looked like over there. There's some sheds that were sitting outside that are typically sold. They're used as samples or examples or models. They were leveled to the ground. We also saw so many down power lines in that area, and authorities were asking people not to go over there, to avoid that area, to stay safe. And then there's this other story. We talked to a gentleman who was in a semi truck who says one of those sheds slammed into his cab, but he says there was a tree there protecting him, and he says he blames that protection, or he credits it to his faith.
If that tree doesn't stop it, it would have went right through my tractor where I sleep and everything. So thank you, Lord.
You think he was listening to those prayers?
Oh yeah, he always does.
Just a little takeaway right there after talking to that gentleman. I mean, he had a crazy night, and he says he feels thankful this morning. And I think a lot of people feel that way if they were able to get out of here without any injuries. One other thing we wanted to point out, and Ron, I heard you talking about it, Keller ISD says it may take some time getting to schools this morning. We're right in front of an elementary school, and that's because of down power lines and also trees in the roadways. They're just asking folks to drive slowly and to be safe and to be careful this morning on their way to school. Ron, Sonia, back to you.
And you know, another thing that some of these school districts and fire departments are talking about is they want kids who are walking to school this morning to really pay attention to where they're walking. You know, sometimes kids are tired in the morning, not really looking at the ground, but
pay attention, be cautious.
To where you're going.
We have just gotten word that Mansfield ISD is closed, so they are dealing with power outages there that presumably they know they won't get power back for some time, or they just simply don't want to risk that with down power lines, getting buses out, getting kids to school. It's just simply too dangerous. So that is something we want to pass on to you right now. And take a listen here.
Take a listen. Oh my gosh. Sirens are going off, and the wind and the rain is coming so hard that I think it's going to open up my back door. Take a listen.
Yeah, you can hear the powerful wind shaking that door. This is video tweeted by our own Lauren Zakalik out of Fort Worth. Like a lot of you, she was up very late because of this storm, and you've been sending us photos all morning long as well of the damage that you're seeing in your areas. And Daybreak's Monica Hernandez is in Rockwall. Daybreak's Marcus Moore is here, and he has more on what people are sharing with us today. I mean, so many people are documenting this, maybe for their own sake, but they're also tagging us as well and sharing those pictures and helping tell the story.
Well, and we really appreciate that, especially when it's done safely. Every time one of these storms comes through, the first images and videos we get are on social media, and they include videos like this one from LaCroix Cowboy in downtown Dallas. And I show you this video because it demonstrates those wind gusts there, and then the heavy sheets of rain that came through last night, and then you can also see the lightning. Here's another piece of video. Let's roll this from the control room if we can. This is from Garland overnight. Austin tweeted this video out that shows the strong winds blowing debris there in Garland, and there's a point where you can actually see the power flashes because that debris was hitting the power lines there. So that is certainly some of the video that we have seen that helped tell this story. Here's another tweet that we got from Lena Payne. that is a trampoline that is in the power lines there. So when we talk about the debris that goes through it and that makes this so dangerous, this is what people have been dealing with there, that debris flying through the air and causing quite a bit of damage. Right now on our Facebook page, we have people giving us their damage reports on this live video here, and Anthony is saying that a big branch fell in his backyard. Luckily, it did not hit the house. We're thankful for that. And also, Zan, Barry, and Hurst says they had brief winds, a lot of lightning, and the family of 4 sheltering in a closet at 2 o'clock in the morning with their helmets on. Remember that debris we were talking about. So that's what we have seen online, Ron and Sonia, this morning. People certainly dealing with this as best they can and sharing the pictures and videos with us.
All right, Marcus, we appreciate that, and we want to remind our viewers you can download the WFAA app. It will allow you to stream our newscasts as they happen, also get weather alerts. You can check radars in your neighborhood specifically to know when those storms are coming, especially for those of you who are without power, who've been telling us that this app has come in very handy, as long as your phone is charged, right? Because if you're without power at some point, the battery dies.
I know.
But we hope that you're able to keep in touch with us that way. And we want to remind you as well, if you come to a 4-way stop and the lights are flashing or the lights are out, treat it like a 4-way stop. Come to a complete stop, and everybody takes turns at that 4-way intersection. We don't want to see any accidents there.
Look at you doing traffic.
See? Doing my best.
All right, so a
Don't
little
mean to
bit
steal
of.
your thunder, Laura.
I'm proud of you, Ron.
No offense. Thank
I'm glad you know.
Don't worry.
We're a team
Your
here.
job is safe. Okay. A little bit of other news now. With the women's Final Four in town, Dale Hansen's going to weigh in on the UConn dynasty. So that's coming up ahead in your Sports in 60.
And Lauren does have an update on power lines that are causing problems on I-20. The lines are out of the way, but those residual backups continue there, not making life very easy for commuters this morning. And here's a live picture from Rockwall, where some of the worst of the damage has been seen overnight from this line of storms. It simply gained intensity as it moved across the area, leaving this behind in Rockwall, and we will be live back out there in just a bit. We'll be back in just a moment.
Okay, welcome back. Time now 6:47. Bunch of you been sending us photos and videos all night long, and check this one out. James says this was captured in Denton via dash cam. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, and his handle is at James. So thank you, James.
Love your handle.
And we want to bring you up to date now on a couple of important stories we will be following today. A person of interest is in custody after a violent home invasion in West Fort Worth. This happened yesterday in broad daylight. John and Diane Porter, both 69 years old, were shot and then their car stolen. Police found the car in Terrell.
We could see new developments in a case we're watching very closely. Denise Ross was found guilty of murder. Sentencing could happen today. Prosecutors say she illegally injected industrial-grade silicone into women, promising a sort of curvier figure.
It is 6:48 now, and Greg is busy in the Weather Center. He's been tracking this storm for us that has been pretty extensive and lasting quite some time overnight, and now hopefully moving out of the area, Greg.
It is moving out of the area right now. You see that leading edge of that line of thunderstorms getting on over toward Texarkana into the Arklatex region. So we're on the backside of that. Things will be improving. The severe weather threat has ended for us, but still that enhanced risk for some strong severe thunderstorms in our far eastern counties. A little bit later today, the Arklatex region, you see that slight risk east of Fort Worth and Dallas, and still a marginal risk in some areas, but that's going to be mainly this morning, so things will quiet down as we go through the day. You see the what's left of the thunderstorm complex moves out of the area, maybe some wraparound showers and storms up along the Red River later today and tonight, but otherwise things do improve. But we did have the damage overnight from those thunderstorms as they roll through. Jesse Hawila has been in all morning tracking the storms, and you have more on the damage from last night.
Yeah, quite extensive damage across the Dallas-Fort Worth area and really all of North Texas. Let's take a look here at some of those damage reports that we had. And again, most people waking up this morning without power, or a lot of people rather, more than 200,000 people or homes across the Dallas-Fort Worth area at the peak of this were without power. So take a look at some of these damage reports. Most of these straight line wind damage, fallen trees on the UTD campus there in Dallas County. Also, we have other reports from Tarrant County. A power pole snapped at Highway 377 and North Tarrant Parkway. That was at 2:23 this morning, and things are improving big time today, Greg.
But we'll We'll get more of these damage reports rolling in as we go through the morning. Once that sun comes up, there's the upper low that's driving everything along, and it continues to move east here for today. The next system moves in on its heels this weekend, so we'll catch a break tomorrow heading into Friday from the thunderstorms. But as you make those plans for the weekend, we could have another round of strong, maybe severe thunderstorms going into late Saturday and early Sunday. For right now, though, we'll have the cloudy skies, maybe a few leftover showers at 61 degrees at Fair Park right now, 55 in Weatherford, and 56 as we head out to Decatur. Those daytime highs warming up close to 80 with the thunderstorms ending a little later this morning. We'll have some clearing skies later today. Thursday and Friday should be nice with those late day thunderstorms rolling in Saturday going into Sunday. A few showers may linger into the first part of next week, too. Lauren Nevitt has been busy in the traffic center this morning. How's it look now, Lauren?
Okay, I'm going to try to get to our biggest trouble spots right now. So a new accident in Dallas, still working actually, westbound 635 at Royal Lane. Currently blocks the 2 right lanes, causing an hour delay right there. So use Northwest Highway or take Loop 12 Buckner Boulevard to Audelia to avoid that. Still closed in Farmers Branch, northbound 35E at Valley View Lane. Take 114 to President George Bush Turnpike to avoid that hour delay. Also working, I-20 both directions has been reopened, but still expect major delays both directions as well. Take Spur 303 or I-30 as your alternate route there. Ron and Sonia.
Thanks, Lauren. A little bit of sports now. The ladies of college hoops are in town. The women's Final Four is going to be played here at the AAC this weekend.
But does anyone have a chance to beat UConn? Here's Dale Hansen with your Sports in 60.
Dallas is hosting the women's NCAA Final Four this week. Semifinals Friday, but the teams came in yesterday, just in time for the hailstorms in North Texas and time to adjust to the altitude, which I believe is 0. South Carolina has their women's and men's team in the Final Four this year. Doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened 10 times. And guess the last school to win both titles the same year. Come on, it's not that hard. It's UConn, of course. And the UConn women will win another title Sunday. Now, I know I'm supposed to say everybody has a chance, but they don't. And I'm not knocking women's basketball. My sister was an outstanding basketball player. Some people actually thought she was as good as her brother, until they saw me play, of course. But I do think UConn's too good for the game. 6 titles in the last 9 years. This is their 10th straight trip to the Final Four, and they've won 111 games in a row. I like greatness, I really do. But come on, South Carolina, then change that mascot. We're a very politically correct people in Texas. I'm Dale Hansen, and that's your Sports in 60.
Well, the storms have moved out, but they have left their mark on this Rockwall neighborhood. Some of the most severe damage is there. We will assess it at first light, as will the National Weather Service. Was this a tornado?
And in Euless, northbound Highway 360 accident at Trinity Boulevard causing an hour delay. Use President George Bush Turnpike if you need to head up to DFW Airport.
All right. Thank you, Lauren and Greg, and we will keep you updated on traffic and weather during Good Morning America.
Okay, we'll see you a little bit later, about 30 minutes.